PFLs, Procedural Fairness Letter. I'm sure most of us are very familiar with this term. It used to be a very rare situation, but not anymore. So it is very necessary to know how to avoid it and what are the main reasons why someone receives a PFL. We'll do a detailed overview on some of the common PFL reasons, and we'll be able to navigate you through this process. Once again, welcome to Yoke's YouTube channel, and nice to have you all here. Procedural Fairness Letter is what we'll be discussing today. It's a very common used term recently for people who have applied for PR and waiting for a decision. Why one is receiving it, what is this PFL, and what are some scenarios of why this is received. These things we will be addressing in this video, and let's dive into the video. So PFL. A PFL is a letter from IRCC which gives an explanation of the issues that IRCC has found in your PR application. It doesn't have to be just for PR application. Nowadays, we are seeing it for several other applications like temporary residence, even for work permit application. In some cases, IRCC is providing this PFL. They're giving a second chance, basically, to submit your documentation. So it basically does not mean that your application is rejected, but a refusal may follow if the issues they have addressed in that particular letter is not addressed. So it's very, very important to clarify and provide as much detail as possible. And it's always better to submit PFLs with someone who knows what they are doing. So say if you submitted your original application by yourself and you have received a PFL, it's advisable to get a second opinion from someone who is a licensed consultant or a lawyer. Take a consultation from them and make sure that whatever you are submitting is proper, because this is your second chance, or it might be a complete no. So please make that informed decisions on your next step. So let's look at one of the very common reason for this PFL where one is receiving for their permanent resident application is for their foreign work experience concerns. So foreign work experience can be claimed in your PR application, but there are so many scenarios of why it can be used and why it cannot be used. So in PFLs, what we have been seeing is IRCC thinks that employer cannot be traced online, as IRCC is doing online searches on the company to make sure that it's a genuine company. And it's just not some kind of just an address or a letterhead that they have received. So when IRCC do their search, if they are not able to find the particular company, they do give that reason, employer not traceable online. And also the genuinity or the reference letter is very vague. They don't have their duties mentioned. So that is the foreign experience concerns. And foreign experience, especially when you are submitting a foreign work experience where you have been paid in cash. So then you don't have proper pay slips. You just have payment vouchers or salary certificates that come with it. That leads to more questions from IRCC, as they want to really know if this employment is genuine. So when there is no tax documents or bank evidence and overlapping jobs or mismatched NOC codes, so be it your foreign work experience or your Canadian experience, you got to have everything, your NOC code, duties mentioned in your letter. It's very important. When letters are vague and your employer cannot be traced by IRCC, it leads to issues. So that's where this PFL is generally been issued for foreign work experience concerns. So when you get a PFL, it's advisable to provide all kind of documents that you have available mostly sometimes in your initial application when you submit, you would have left out a lot of information as you would have thought that is not necessary. But when they come with a PFL, the more the better. And another very common reason is misrepresentation of marital or family status. So this is becoming a very common PFL reason lately. So declaring spouse as non-accompanying when both the spouses are in Canada. So this reason IRCC is taking it very seriously, as earlier they used to accept spouses even if they are in Canada as non-accompanying for whatever reason, be it lower CRS score, and those things were all accepted by IRCC. But right now they are not accepting any kind of reasons of such sort. And dependent children, not disclosing it in the PR application, and marriages after the PR application is submitted, you've gotten married and you did not disclose to IRCC that you got married, and you decide to sponsor them later. So definitely at that point, IRCC does look at it. At what point did you get married, and have you disclosed it to IRCC? So when they do find out that you got married while your PR application was in process and it was not disclosed, it gets to another step where this particular individual is no more under a family class. So it's very crucial that things like that needs to be taken very seriously. And common law relationships, it's very common and it is acceptable, but it needs to be disclosed right from the very go of, if you are even staying together as a common law partner, it needs to be disclosed. You might be thinking twice, okay, do I have to disclose it? I'm not sure if my relationship is going to progress. But if you think that you are living in a common law relationship for at least 1 year together, you have to disclose it. It's not the point of if your relationship is going to progress. That's not what IRCC is concerned about, because IRCC is looking at when you apply for permanent residence, has this individual been living together? So it's very important to proceed with your application the proper way. Then only you can address your PFLs without issues or without any concerns. And another scenario where PFL is very commonly received is past visa refusals. So either it's undisclosed or it's incomplete. So a lot of people did go to flagpole to get their postgraduate work permit earlier. Yes, that is being denied entry into United States. Yes, that needs to be disclosed. It's very common to think, okay, is that even, do I even have to disclose it? So you might have gone, it would have skipped your mind, but it's very important to disclose it. That can also lead to a procedural fairness letter, and any kind of previous refusals to any country, everything needs to be disclosed. And inconsistent answers about past applications, your personal history, things like that needs to be disclosed very, very clearly. Another scenario where PFL is received, Procedural Fairness Letter is received for proof of funds or financial documentation issues. So for certain type of PR application, you need to show proof of funds for your PR application, and the funds that are being deposited into the account has been in that account for a very short period of time, and it's a huge sum of money. So when you decide to submit, you put in your PR application, it's advisable to put some funds away, so your account is clear and you are able to show that to IRCC without much issues. Sudden large deposit shortly before application, gifted funds, there's no proper documentations for it, and also bank statements missing account holder name or bank contact details, and funds held in joint accounts, and with unclear access rights. These are all common PFL reasons, not refusal reason, PFL, where your application is not being rejected. They're giving you a second chance to submit the documents for the things that are not clear. And if not clearly addressed, IRCC has the right to reject it. Another very common reason is the eligibility criteria concerns. So if a PR application is submitted through Express Entry, before even putting in your profile in Express Entry, you got to meet the conditions of Express Entry. It's very important. So some of the very common reason is insufficient qualifying work experience for the program. So just because you do put in your NOC code and your title doesn't just mean that you do meet all the eligibility criteria. You got to make sure that is matching with your employment letter, your pay stubs, everything is up to date is very important. So they are not consistent with the documentation, and job duties and NOC code don't match. These are very common triggering points for PFLs, and make sure you do not make this very grave mistake and do lose your chance of permanent residence into Canada. For some of you, the invitations that you have received is very rare, as the CRS score was quite low, could be, for the invitation that you have received. So make sure you do abide by your conditions that you have received your invitation under, and you meet all the criteria. It's very, very important. So some few tips that I can give you to avoid receiving a PFL, which can be taken into place when you apply for your PR. So be very honest in your application, 100% honest in your application. Even minor errors can be flagged. And strong documentation is very important, and don't assume that IRCC will join the dots for you. You got to break it down for them as much as possible, and cross-check your NOC code, your duties matches with the standard NOC code that has already been stated out by ESDC. So make sure that is matching, and the funds format and all family details, they are all clear in the PR application. It's very important. Check that, do a thorough check, and always I would recommend that before you submit your PR application, get it reviewed by a immigration consultant or a lawyer, so you are submitting your application with confidence. Even if you have put together that application, that review will give you that peace of mind. Okay, I have submitted, I have all the documents that is required. So you can avoid that PFL in most of the times. And even if you receive a PFL, do submit it in full documentation and as much documents as possible, so that'll make the process smoother. So thanks for tuning in, and please reach out to us if you have any Canadian immigration inquiries, and we are always here to help you out. And we are on Instagram, follow us, and YouTube as well. And thanks for tuning in, and see you all in the next video.